Greetings, dear beautiful, precious, magnificent, loving, talented, able, genius. Should I say more? Go on. No. That's who you really are. Not this fakey little mind that we all put together, or this is the real, the genuine, the true, the real. My topic, how to get and keep control of the mind. How to get and keep control of your mind. Now, first you got to know the distinction between you and the mind. And what I do sometimes in my seminars, I would have a person say to themselves, pat themselves on the chest and say, I'm not a mind, I have a mind. Say that. I'm not a mind, I have a mind. See, you're noticing because you're the thinker, obviously that's not you, right? So you obviously, because you're conscious of being who you are, and you could change those thoughts or those words or those sounds, that they're not dominating you. You see, a long time ago, it was discovered that the pen is mightier than the sword. Pen meaning the word, written down. And finding that when they could write down that word and that written word, and people would then see the word and would agree with the word, and they would get the same consciousness, they would have more power to conquer people or protect people than with a sword, with a violence. Okay? So, how you want to get control and keep control of your mind, how to get and keep control of your mind, you have to know that you're distinct from it. And then I would have them say to someone next to them, you're not a mind, you have a mind. You got to know the distinction. Then you go, you have a body, you're not that body. You see, and you do have a spiritual body. And you do have a spirit, you might want to call it divine mind or spiritual mind, but it's your cognizant ability. Yes. However, because words cannot define who we are beyond words. We are not the word, because we're generators, you see, and with meaning behind those words and emotions. That's why one of the good things is to look at all of the words that activate your emotions, that trigger you, that get you, and these come from beliefs that you have. And then people who want to control others know what the beliefs are and where the fears are and the buttons are, because they've also generated that through media, through news, through movies, through teaching, through stories, through this, through that, all of this that people are consumed with, rather than being in nature, working in their garden. I'm telling you, the real garden of life, where the beauty is and the love and the joy of our true nature. So getting control and keeping control of the mind is to know the distinction. And that's also between who you are and who you think you are, you see. So my book, What You Think of Me, is none of my business. Excellent. Get that out there. And it's a wonderful book to get for everybody you know. It was written at a time when I was really starting to explore and realize how I had given my power away. And sometimes it takes a while. And that's why, a lot of times when we learn from someone else, teachings and such, like my studying with great masters, that I could ever find always, and especially the 4 years with the Vedic studies, Vedic scholars and such, beautiful, that enrichment and that time invested in that kind of study and applying, because you're hearing it all the time, you're talking it, you're working with it. And you take a look at the people want to talk about how bad it is, it's awful, this isn't it. Yes, we know. And we also, at the same time, knowing what's going on, and we do the best we can, we must focus on who we are and where we're going. And in a sense, where we're going, what we're manifesting, and the reality we're living in and around us, and what we're generating. And that's where you really want to focus your attention and your energy on it, because it is, if we focus only on the problems get fueled all the time. And the mind, so when you know the distinction between you and the mind, you can also notice that the doubt that is created in that battle between you and what the mind says and telling you, and it's so knows everything about us because it's also been very influencing us. I would also call it like a mind virus. People don't, might say, what are you talking about? Wait a minute. Divine mind is not like this mind that is generating resentment, anger, fear, doubt, insecurity. Is not going to enough. Terrible things going to happen. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to them? Blah blah. And what did and you couldn't. It should. It's relentless because it gets our attention because it's so much a part of us that we've been perceiving through the glass darkly, as Yeshua said. So as we perceive clearly, you have to be able to perceive without veils. You can see through the veils because you see through the veils as to what they are, but you want to go to the root, always. I'm a rootist. That's what I liked Ernest Holmes in his writings on the science of the mind. Because in that and in metaphysics and the Fillmores and Unity and such and there were many different groups out there that were really beginning to understand the metaphysical teachings behind what we were given so that people could take out the salient parts and points to apply and allow themselves to basically break free of this, you might call it, not just a glass ceiling, but an iron ceiling of ignorance, not darkness. I don't like to use dark and light that way, but but having a poor fund of knowledge. So to control the mind, here's a really fast one. When you notice, then you start to notice how the mind is operating, and notice how it operates, and notice what it's coming from, and notice, okay, and how we have to then, a lot of my work is coming up also to our workshops up here at Shasta, or being able to do some courses we'll be doing on the internet and such, but to be able to practice, you've got to keep doing the thing that works, and that means bringing yourself back to you, rather than allowing the mind to control you. You can then use your mind and use your intelligence, divine intelligence. You have these, but to activate those rather than this view or perception of life that is covered by all of this education and training and manipulate, and all of this stuff that we're carrying that then produce all of these beliefs that are so deep that families even perpetuate this and have hatred with each other, that groups of people or even ministries that started out really beautiful then become distorted in some way, and it's even when I left my ministry in San Diego, it wasn't that I gave up the divine experiment, but I knew that something big was missing. And I didn't want people to turn out like me at that level because I really wasn't happy. It was gone. There was, with everything I did, I got to where I wanted in that world, and yet there was so much more. Because so much of what we go for in the world is that which we already have but has been dormant. And it's to find those keys that activate that treasure trove of divine pleasures of the heart and the opulence and the magnificence and the beauty of the spiritual life in every way. So how you get control of the mind, you've got to know that you're not the mind, you have one, therefore you can get control of it. You have to then get some of that knowledge of how everything is operating and works. And this is what I'm sharing in my work. I share Live Your Bliss, excellent book. If you live your bliss, and that doesn't, and it's not follow your bliss. Bliss is not something that's the ultimate. It's just you not thinking, being free of programming in that moment where you're actually being you. And then you could watch when the mind starts clicking in and what it does and all of that, and to also be able to, you can say the cancel. To help you, say cancel, I'm not choosing that. Cancel, I'm not choosing that. And then breathe. And I did a little painting for myself. I'm into crayons, And I had one of those little canvases you get from the art store or thrift shop or whatever. And I wrote, breathe into your heart now. Breathe into your heart now. That was for me. To keep reminding myself, you see. Now I'm going to look to see, maybe I'll put some oil colors. I was looking at some stuff, because I'm in crayons. But to remind, we need those reminders. And then I have the people I've studied and I work with, and the great teachers I've been able to work with throughout my life in every area. So there goes the paper. So that's what I offer you in the teaching and the sharing. So you don't have to take all of those years. You don't have to take get all those mistakes. You have to go through all of the troubles to try and figure it out yourself. There are actually tools and steps that are known that produce the greatness of our being. And you can test every single one of them as to whether, and I forgot, well, I think I am Michael Jackson. I'm not. I didn't. That wasn't me. It wasn't me. I was having such a good time. I forgot the other glove. Oh, I love it. So anyway, so that's great. So you get control of your mind, and the mind, when it starts to run rampant, breathe into your heart now. Take those shoes off. Give yourself, at least at home, without the socks, run around barefooted. Get out when you can. Yesterday I got out, I started raking the grass with this barefooted and running around. I went, whoa, such great, I could swing that rake and it went in the air, and then we got the birds coming and doing the things. So how you control and get control of that mind is to keep taking your power back, keep breathing into your heart, notice how it works, cancel what you don't want, keep yourself centered in the truth. And whatever thoughts, choose the highest thoughts that you possibly can to help you remember, realize, and actualize yourself, and in producing your goods, your services out there for empowering others. So this is the great work. This is, like they said in The Tale of Two Cities, the worst and the best of times. But we can make it the best, where it's beyond worst and best. The ultimate, the absolute, that is who we are in our realized and activated divine nature self. So why not find out? Why not be that? And I want to thank all of you who are donating and contributing whatever you can. Every gift, pack it with love. Send it with love. Because think of your money as fertilizer. Think of your gifts as fertilizer. That you're giving this gift to this with love to make it grow. Because if you want more people to have this, more people to receive it, and to be able to, then it allows us to do more, to be able to get more people, so we can offer this for free in this way. And then I always do my work based on love offering, donation, contribution, and I know some can give more than others, and it's always important to give to where you're receiving, because in that way you're willing to empower those who empower you, and that is the real key to life. And I want to thank all of you who are doing your work out there, and that's what I wanted, is you're out there doing your work. And it's my work to empower you in your work. And as you empower me in my work, you see, all of us together, there is no stopping us now. This is it now. Breathe into your heart and affirm and know who you are. Yeah. And go forth with enthusiasm. Be you to the full.